What's going on, everyone? It's Aaron here from GA Fan TV. Mayo have just beaten Galway 323 to 17 points. I mean, what on earth just happened? How on earth did Mayo put in a performance like that? That was insane. An incredible performance from Mayo in this game. Outstanding performance, 323 to 17 points. And look, listen, as a Dublin fan myself, I have to say, Mayo really stood out today with that performance. That wasn't just a one-in-the-mill performance, in my opinion. That was a real statement of intent. Yes, look, listen, Galway, we're missing a couple of players, and we'll get into the teams in the moment. But Mayo were missing players too. You can't get away from that as well. And the players that Mayo brought in for this game from, the form that they were in the club championship really stood out and made a massive difference in this game for Mayo. And, in particular, Mark Moran, who, broke the internet in many ways today with his performance for Mayo, an outstanding performance. What on earth have we just witnessed? And look, listen, Mayo for Sam, I don't know, maybe not, in all honesty, but look, listen, that was a fantastic performance from Mayo. What a victory. 15 points over their neighbours in Tuam as well. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll jump into the teams. And yeah, look, listen, we'll start with the Mayo side that obviously went and won the game. So they started with David Clark in goal, Oisin Mullen, David McBreen and Lee Keegan making up the fullbacks. The halfbacks, Paddy Durkin, Stephen Cohen and Owen McLaughlin. In midfield, it was Matthew Ruan and Conor Loftus. And then, of course, in the half forwards, Fionn McDonough, Mark Moran and Dermot O'Connor. Tommy Conroy, Aidan O'Shea and Killian O'Connor made up the full forwards. For the Galway side, it was Conor Gleeson in goal, Conor Campbell, Sean Andy and Johnny Heaney, of course, in the fullbacks. Halfbacks, Liam Silk, Johnny Dewan and Killian McDade. In midfield, it was Cian Darcy and John Marr. Eamon Brannigan, Damien Comer and Jason Leonard. Of course, Damien Comer getting injured and Michael Daly had to come back in. Robert Finnerty, Ian Burke and Paul Conroy making up the full forwards as well. Of course, Johnny Dewan getting injured quite early on in that game for Galway as well. Yeah, I mean, what a performance it was from Mayo. And just right from the get-go, they looked outstanding. Their offloading of the ball, they were very comfortable in possession. And Mark Moran was very much pulling the strings in that half-forward line. He took his goal superbly well. Very tidy, silky footballer. Exactly what Mayo would need. And look, listen, he was brilliant at times at offloading the ball into Aidan O'Shea, at supporting that full forward line, and of course chipping away with some fantastic points as well. And yeah, I mean, look, listen, he wasn't the only one, in my opinion. Oisin Mullen, I thought, was absolutely outstanding in defence, and even at times, getting forward, supporting the attack. Just a very tidy footballer as well. The pace that he's shown on the ball. And look, listen, obviously Australia, the Aussie rules were certainly keeping tabs on Oisin Mullen. He probably would have went over there if there wasn't a lockdown. So look, listen, to keep him for this championship is absolutely outstanding. In particular, Owen McLaughlin, I thought, had a fantastic game as well. In midfield, Matthew Ruan and Conor Loftus just pulled the strings as well. Conor Loftus kicked some fantastic points, got himself a goal as well. Conor Loftus may be a little bit unlucky not to actually get man of the match, in my opinion, because, he had a fantastic game in midfield. And Galway massively struggled in this game. And look, listen, let's talk a bit about Galway. What on earth went wrong for Galway in this game? Well, I suppose, first of all, their kickouts were really poor. Conor Gleeson from kickouts, and look, listen, it wasn't all his fault. Some of his kickouts were poor, but also Galway's midfield in many ways was just non-existent. They kept getting overran. Mayo were flooding the midfield, the likes of Oisin Mullen and Lee Keegan, Owen McLaughlin supporting the midfield, and Galway just simply could not deal with it. They didn't have Ronan Steed in there, of course. Ronan Steed not available for this game, so he didn't play in midfield, and that they were missing him, of course. And yeah, look, listen, Mayo just absolutely outstanding in many ways. Cian Darcy and John Marr just struggling a bit at times for Galway. A little bit better in the second half, Cian Darcy. And Galway, Mayo did take their foot off the pedal in the second half, but just outstanding all around from Mayo in particular. Getting that second goal, of course, Conor Loftus, fantastic finish. And Mayo from there just in absolute cruise control, and Galway's heads just dropped completely, and Mayo were just playing this unbelievable football that we always associate with Mayo and that we know that they can play. Aidan O'Shea was outstanding as well. He was catching the long balls when they were lofted into him. Very calm in possession as well, and able to slot, home some fantastic points as well. Cillian O'Connor from frees, very rarely missed. I think Mayo only had 4 wides in this game, and 2 of them were from Stephen Cohen, I believe, who came off the bench. And yeah, look, listen, what a performance from Mayo in the end. And Galway, back to the drawing board. All the talk, of course, is about Jim McGuinness and Galway are favourites. And yeah, I mean, if Jim McGuinness did come in to provide some defensive structure for this Galway side, I think Padraig Joyce is going to be back on the phone to him and get him back in there to do some more work, because certainly it didn't work. Galway defensively were all over the place. They were losing their men. Their tackling was poor. Everything about Galway in the first half in particular was just very poor. And look, listen, obviously it's the first game back from a long layoff, a long lockdown. It is understandable in many ways. A lot, we've seen some bizarre scorelines this weekend. Wicklow putting in an absolute hammering against Antrim, for example. So there are circumstances where teams haven't quite been ready and prepared for the return to inter-county Gaelic football, and I think we've seen that with Galway in the first half. Lackadaisy passes, giving away soft frees. Even before Mayo got that first and second goal, Galway were still behind by 5 or 6 points because they were just a little bit lackadaisy in defence and giving away silly frees. Second half comes around. Galway bring on Adrian Varley, makes a significant difference, kicks some fantastic points. And Mayo were nowhere near their best in that second half. But, Galway at times just very sloppy. And, Paddy Durkin able to comfortably get the third goal, slotting away some comfortable points. Of course, Tommy Conroy as well, fantastic in the second half. And just outstanding in particular for this Mayo side. They could have even had more. There was one stage where Conor Gleeson gave away the ball and Paddy Durkin slid in and the ball went over the bar. And at times Galway just a little bit sloppy there at the back in possession. And yeah, look, listen, they'll be back to the drawing board for Galway. It certainly makes the last day of the National Football League Division 1 season very interesting indeed, provided the championship doesn't get cancelled. Quite incredibly, with the fact that Mayo had such a high scoring victory, they actually go above Monaghan, which quite incredible in many ways with a game remaining. And the National League, the race for first place wide open now, because Dublin are back in it. If Dublin beat Galway next week and Donegal beat Kerry, Dublin will be National Football League champions, and that is quite incredible indeed. Of course, a lot of ifs, buts and maybes, and you would expect Galway to come back a lot stronger next week. If Damien Comer is back from his injury, if Shane Walsh is makes a start in this one, that they'll certainly make a massive difference for Galway. For Mayo, most certainly, with some of the players that they had on field, Mark Moran in particular, what an option he will be for this Mayo side. Tommy Conroy, fantastic as well. And, a lot of options in this Mayo side, and certainly that will give Mayo a huge amount of confidence going into Tyrone next week, and a huge amount of confidence going into Leitrim and Roscommon, and potentially Galway in the Connacht final. Yeah, what a result. This has to be certainly one of the biggest results Mayo have had against Galway in a long time, especially in Galway's home stadium. In Tuam, obviously it's not Pearse Stadium, but it is still in Galway. Do let me know down in the comments below, lads, what you thought of this game. Absolutely outstanding stuff. Huge victory for Mayo. Mayo for Sam, maybe that's a little too far. I think that's a bit too far. But look, listen, Mayo certainly are in with a chance, and they've certainly laid down a marker here with this victory. Anyway, my name is Aaron. I'll catch you all after the Donegal Tyrone game, and I'll see you later.